Greetings, I'm Joanne Bougalis, speaking on behalf of myself and my mother, Katherine Bougalis. Well-intended guardianship has become nothing but false labels and domination for exploitation. Our message to you today is that in guardianship, nothing is as it appears. From our experience, that is intentional. In 2010, my mother became a widow with my father leaving her in charge of a multi-million-dollar estate. By 2014, she was a ward under a private for-profit guardian in the state of Minnesota. My mother was a registered nurse and nursing instructor who devoted her life to helping others. I'm a 100% disabled veteran who served our country in both the U.S. Marine Corps and the U.S. Army. Regardless that both my mother and I served our country in different capacities, neither of us is allowed to reside in the United States as a free citizen. Although it appears that we have the right to seek justice, guardianship has become so complex and self-serving that simply is not true. We were left no choice but to flee the country. If we return, my mother will be institutionalized by the guardian, and I will be incarcerated for the warrant for my arrest for accompanying her to freedom. My mother is one of the many in the United States that has fallen prey to guardianship. She was targeted by professionals who used family discord as an excuse to take over her life and her estate. In 2014, my mother and I were living happily together in Arizona. She had a diagnosis of mild cognitive impairment, she had no need for drugs, and she walked 4 miles a day on her own. One day she had the life she worked for, and the next day she was a prisoner. In August 2014, she and I traveled to Minnesota for a mediation agreement, and we were never able to return to Arizona together again. In a 4-month period, without medical testing, a family practitioner with a specialty in obstetrics wrote a false diagnosis of severe dementia to help force my mother into guardianship by December 2014. When the guardian was appointed, he told my brother and I am now your mother. The guardian took deliberate steps to erase my mother's life. To justify his actions, he set up scenarios for her to fail and her family members to fail. He labeled family members as greedy, thieves, uncooperative, and unruly. 43 days after being assigned a guardian, my mother was institutionalized, she was drugged, isolated, and forced to wear a body monitor to prevent her escape. My mother was an immigrant and an accomplished woman. Guardianship stripped her of her family, her life's meaning, her life's purpose, her dignity, and her health. I would find her day after day in the fetal position, begging to die because she lost her freedom, her rights, and the life that she had worked and planned for. It stripped her of everything that made her feel human, leaving her no reason to live. But my mother was also very determined and believed in the American justice system. In 2015, my mother and I were confident that the judge would side with her wishes to allow her to move back home. But instead, he sided with the guardian, kept her locked up, and determined that I was unwilling to work with the professionals. The day the guardian decided that my mother will never be able to walk again, never be able to feel the sun, and told me that I would never see her again, my mother and I, with the help of family and friends and my military comrades, pulled off an elaborate escape. For 2 months, we hid across the country until we got the courage to call the Greek embassy. Because we had dual citizenship, we were granted emergency passports. When we arrived in Greece, we were escorted to a monastery where nuns kept us hidden until we felt safe. My mother, who was labeled too demented to live her life outside of confinement, too demented to travel, and labeled a danger to herself and others, has been living freely and successfully in Greece since we escaped in 2016. When my mother's guardian was granted permanent guardianship in February 2015, her estate was worth an estimated $6 million. Today, the guardian conceals 4 trusts from both the court and the family, and possibly the IRS, reporting only a conservatorship account valuing her estate at $600,000. In a 2-minute hearing, the judge made his decision to accept the guardian's accounting without the guardian present. He did not allow my mother and I to participate in the hearing. We weren't given the opportunity to object. He only connected us after he made his decision and told us if we didn't agree, we could hire an attorney. My mother has been denied her request to hire an attorney by both the guardian and the judge. My legal ability to help her has been destroyed by the warrant for my arrest requested by the guardian and granted by the judge. Months before the hearing, the guardian and the judge accepted a report from my mother's Greek attorney providing substantial evidence of her whereabouts. Despite clear evidence, the guardian continues to report her as missing to the judge, who continues to allow the guardian a position without award, continues to accept financial statements that are deceptive and that do not provide support for the ward. My mother has received no money from her estate. It was only through the help of the U.S. Embassy that she's finally receiving her Social Security. Her pension is received by the guardian. Greece should be viewed as a role model for guardianship. In Greece, judges allow guardianship only in extreme cases where no family exists. We need to work together to change the U.S. laws and the judicial system that are breaking up families and destroying lives. Visit the website dedicated to our escape by searching Bougalis Guardianship. To view our video interview with Dr. Sam Sugar and my keynote speech from AAAPG's 2019 Guardianship Conference, visit AAAPG.net. Thank you.